foodies, welcome back to my cooking channel, Cooking with Frenchy. Cooking and baking made easy. So I hope you enjoyed this channel already, and today is going to be another topic. Before we go a little bit further, most of you must have done so, but make sure you subscribe, that hit button. It helps me more than it helps you, trust me that. So change your notification bell setting. Recipe is always under the description in this video. That will link you to my website where you have more step-by-step with photos and a full printable recipe. So I hope you enjoy it. Today the recipe is about the carrot. Are we going to cook carrot? Now we are going to make a carrot cake. One of those beautiful traditional cake. People love it. People really enjoy it. When I first tried here in Australia, I wasn't convinced, I must say. But as I live here for a while, I try many recipes and I think I find the best recipe ever. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. On top of that carrot cake, I will show you as well how to make a beautiful lime cream cheese icing and just decorate it a little bit with little pearls. Oh, it's beautiful. You will see it. The cake is very moist, it's nice, you can keep it up for 5 days, you will really enjoy this recipe, it's very easy to make. So get ready and happy baking!
This time for the carrot cake. First of all, measure and gather all your ingredients. It's very important to do so. Use an electronic scale, is the best for it. Once you are done with it, the best is you grab a jug, put your oil into it, crack your eggs. So here what we do is to make and mix all the wet ingredients together. Add your vanilla, and here I'm using a hand blender. Give it a quick mix, a few seconds, and it's enough. In a clean bowl, mix all your dry ingredients, so your desiccated or shredded coconut, sift your flour, add your brown sugar. Brown sugar is better than white sugar for this cake, you keep the moisture in. Some bicarb and cinnamon powder. Once you've done, just put that in a mix machine. If you don't have a bench mixer, no problem, you can do it in a big bowl with a whisk. It's quite easy and not too tiring. While this is mixing, I'm just shredding my carrots or grating them using a grater here, and you can use either the large grating holes into your grater or the small one, up to you. I like to do a bit of both. Like this, you see the carrots a little bit more within the cake once you cut it. As my carrots are ready, I can add my wet ingredients, so my mixture of oil, eggs and vanilla into my dry ingredients, and that's really a slow speed. I just speed up the process, but it's speed 1 or 2 on the KitchenAid. I'm checking the mixture, so always scrape the bottom of the bowl, because as you can see there is few bits and haven't been mixed properly. Now I'm slowly adding the grated carrots into the batter. Just like so, bit by bit, and whilst it's happening I can cut my pineapple, so just little dice, nothing to be worried about. Put them in the batter and voila! I'll give it another scrap all over the bowl, mix it for another 20 seconds and it's done. Your cake is done. The cake is actually way easy. Meanwhile, I'm preparing my tin here, cake tin or cake pan. I'm using a ring rather than a baking cake tin. It's up to you. I don't have a baking cake tin at home, so I'm using a ring. I have quite a few of them. It's easier. I'm putting the aluminium foil quite tight around and give it a bit of a grease. I find the ring a little bit more versatile to bake or to build cake, like I did on my last video for the Bavarois. I'm putting that tin on another tray with silicone paper just to make sure it will support the weight of my batter. The batter should come up to about 2/3 of the tin. I preheat my oven at 170 degrees and I'm going to bake that for about an hour, 20 minutes, an hour and a half, depending on your oven. Put it in a hot oven, close the door, go for walkies or whatever you want, but meanwhile you can prepare your ingredients for your lime cream cheese icing. To check if your cake is baked, I use a wooden skewer right in the middle. If it comes clean, that means it's baked. If it comes wet and raw item, that means you need to bake it for another 10 minutes. Whilst the oven is hot, I'm roasting the walnuts for about 10-15 minutes. By then my cake has cooled down a little bit, so about 15 minutes later I'm putting a piece of silicone paper or baking paper above it, turning it upside down. The weight of the cake will flatten the cake as it is and makes it a little bit less domey, so no dome, is going to be flat. Meanwhile I can prepare my cream cheese icing. So I put soft butter into the bowl. The cream cheese has been out of the fridge for about half an hour. Adding the vanilla, lime zest. I do the full lime with it, and just the zest, not the juice. Once ready, I'm going to use the paddle, so you could do that with a spatula by hand easily, as your item is quite soft. I'm adding my icing sugar to it, and it takes about 5 minutes with the machine. Speed 1 again, very slow process. I don't want air bubble, aeration, so I'm just doing it very slowly until everything is combined. I do it for a minute. I'm gonna stop the machine. I will scrape again all over the bowl, make sure there's no lumps here and there. I want it to be smooth, so I do it for another minute, and that's really the speed it should go to. Once done, I can keep that aside. By now my cake should be totally cooled down. If not, make sure you cool it down. Remove the ring. If you have issue with the ring, just use a small knife and gently cut the edge of the cake against the ring. Like this, you have a nice cake. So here I'm just removing the paper, the excess of paper I had, and I do use a turning table, it's a little bit easier. I'm putting quite a bit of icing on top of the cake, and I'm gonna start to mask all over the edges right to the bottom of the cake. I'm not too worried if there's breadcrumbs on the side, because it's gonna be hidden by the roasted walnut. This is what we call one of the basic cakes. They work very well, and they have a very high moisture content. They're quite dense. Crumb structure is quite tight. It's very beautiful. It's a cake you can keep it for 5 days outside, and without the icing you can freeze it for up to 3 months. People will tell you can freeze up to 6 months, but if your cake has been for 6 months in the freezer, you maybe shouldn't make too many cakes in advance. Go smooth it a little bit around. If you feel like you're not level and you're missing a bit, just add a little bit of more icing, and quickly with the spatula to the top, then back to the edges, and gently bring a little bit of the icing towards the center of your cake, and there you are. Meanwhile, I'm chopping the walnuts. It's been roasted and by now cooled down, and I'm gonna apply those walnuts on the side, the edge of the cake. Using a spatula, I'm lifting the cake off the board, and on one hand I'm grabbing the cake, and on the other hand I'm applying the walnuts. Just really press and push leftover, then it's on the bench. Grab them back and push them back towards the cake. Walnuts had extra texture, when you hit it, that little crunch, and they are delicious. I'm putting the cake now onto a clean cake board, and I will put the leftover of my icing on the piping bag with a star nozzle, and I'm having a little bit of fun with decoration. You could do rosette, you could do any kind of style of piping. You don't have to pipe it, but remember, people who like icing, whether it's on a cupcake or the cake, like quite a bit of icing on it. So I was just having fun with a bit of different style. And then I'm just going to finish the cake with those little candy balls, different colors and little love heart. I just kept it simple this time. That was for birthday of a family member. And I must say, everyone just raved about the cake. They all tell me that it's beautiful cake. So pineapple or not, keep cooking.
What's up, Doc?